Before Warsaw, before London, before Pearl Harbor, there was Wieluń, a quiet town in western Poland. No soldiers, no defenses, no reason to be bombed. And yet, at 4:40 in the morning on September 1st, 1939, it became ground zero for the war that would consume the world. The first bombs of World War II fell here, on civilians. Late August 1939. Across Europe, tension is at its breaking point. Germany has just signed a secret pact with the Soviet Union, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, giving Hitler a free hand to invade Poland. Meanwhile, in the small town of Wieluń, life continues as normal. Farmers bring milk to market, children prepare for school. The town lies only 20 kilometers from the German border, but no one expects to be attacked. Wieluń has no military base, no industry, not even a railway junction worth bombing. To its 16,000 residents, war still feels far away. At 4:40 a.m., without warning, the sirens of Stuka dive bombers pierce the morning silence. The Luftwaffe's 76th Dive Bomber Regiment, commanded by Wolfram von Richthofen, cousin of the famous Red Baron, begins its assault. The first bomb hits the All Saints Hospital, clearly marked with a red cross. The roof caves in. Patients, nurses, and doctors are crushed in their beds. One survivor later recalled, "The hospital was gone in seconds. I saw people running in flames." Within minutes, the church, the marketplace, and several streets are reduced to dust. As the second wave of bombers arrives, people run into the streets searching for shelter. Mothers clutch their children, priests try to calm crowds, but nowhere is safe. The Stukas dive almost vertically, their engines screaming, dropping bombs in precision strikes designed to cause maximum psychological terror. Houses collapse like paper. Dust and smoke cover the town. In less than 2 hours, over half of Wieluń lies in ruins. And then more bombers arrive. A third wave hits around 9 in the morning, targeting what's left of the market square. By noon, there's nothing left to destroy. Why Wieluń? That question would haunt survivors for decades. There were no Polish troops here, no anti-aircraft defenses. The Luftwaffe knew that. In fact, evidence later showed the attack was a test, a deliberate experiment in total war. The Germans wanted to measure how effective air bombardment could be against a civilian population, to see how quickly panic and chaos could break morale. Von Richthofen's unit took aerial photographs during the attack, recording the destruction from above. These images were later used in Luftwaffe briefings as proof of success. When the bombers finally left, Wieluń was silent. Survivors crawled out from cellars and rubble. Many were deafened by the blasts. Others wandered in shock, searching for family members. A Polish nun, Sister Anna Borkowska, later wrote, "We heard cries under the rubble for hours. We tried to pull them out, but the buildings kept collapsing. There were stories of parents carrying lifeless children through the smoke, of priests giving last rites on the streets, and of animals, horses, dogs, cattle, lying dead beside their owners. By evening, over 1,200 people were dead, 75% of the town destroyed. When German troops entered the ruins the next day, even they were stunned." One officer wrote in his diary, "Nothing left, only dust and bodies. It was not a battle, it was an annihilation." Yet Nazi propaganda quickly denied everything. Official reports claimed that Wieluń had been defended by the Polish army, and that the Luftwaffe had simply responded to fire from the ground. But no Polish anti-aircraft guns were ever found. In truth, the destruction of Wieluń became a model for what would follow: Warsaw, Rotterdam, Coventry. Entire cities bombed not for military gain, but for fear. For years after the war, Wieluń's tragedy was overshadowed by larger events. There were no journalists that morning, no famous photographs like in Warsaw or London, only survivors' testimonies and silence. Even in Germany, few spoke of it. Von Richthofen went on to command the Luftwaffe in Spain and later in Russia, never facing trial for his role in Wieluń. It wasn't until the 1980s that historians began to call Wieluń what it truly was, the first act of terror bombing in World War II. The war began not with soldiers storming a battlefield, but with bombers targeting a hospital. Wieluń was the beginning, the moment the world learned that civilians would be targets and mercy would be rare. One town, one morning, one warning to the world.